Welcome to the lab. Today, I had one quick project that I worked on, and one excruciatingly long-term project. Um, the easy one is right here. It's art. No, actually, it's my daughter's shoe. The heel of her little bootlet, whatever kind of thing this is, started coming off, so I took the Gorilla Glue to it. Seems like that's all I do is glue things. But that keeps us from having to buy those shoes again. I don't know. They're probably not very expensive. I personally hate buying shoes, because what always ends up happening is I get new shoes, I wear those shoes, I cycle through them in 3 to 6 months. They're dead, and then I have to move back to my old shoes because, again, I hate buying shoes. Right now, I'm wearing shoes that are probably approaching 5, 6 years old, that have been worse for the wear, I guess. And I have several times come very close to throwing them out, but I hang on to them, and then my new shoes fail, and I come back to the old reliables and maybe slather some glue in some places to keep them together and wear them again. I've honestly been wearing them every day for maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, which is terrible. It's broken down shoes, but honestly, they feel better than some of the newer shoes that I have, and I'm not standing all day like I was. So that, I do stand a lot, but I'm not standing all day, and that helps with the feet. The other project that we started working on is looking at paying off the family debt. Debt is, the big D word. When my own history, I spent an excessive amount of time getting my bachelor's degree. I tried doing it myself. I worked. I did take out some student loans, but they were never enough to actually, uh, I had a choice of take the student loans and not work and try to come up with extra money because it wasn't going to cover the expenses, or take the student loans and work and be able to pay most of my own bills, and then take longer doing the college, because I didn't have as much time. I ended up working nearly full time for 3 or 4 years in the middle there. I was making a decent amount of money, given the amount of time I was working. And yes, it was full time, but it was primarily on the weekends, and that worked out well, except that I was just drained. I was exhausted. My brain didn't work, and guess what? You need your brain to work if you're actually taking classes that are any good. So anyway, I spent a decade, building up debt. In the end, I had run out of student loan opportunities and was charging everything. But because I had this income, I was able to build up a just stupid amount of credit, and I got to the end. I decided that I would just get a degree. I had excessive numbers of hours, because much like my life now, I was interested in lots of things, but didn't really want to focus on anything. So I took a lot of classes that I didn't need to take. And I think that there were other paths I could have taken that were more direct, and there were things that I could have done that would have made me wealthy by now. I could have gotten in at the ground floor on some of the stuff going on in the 90s with computer development. I ended up in technology anyway. I just ended up in the not very well paid part of technology, working for nonprofits and that sort of thing. So there were better paths maybe, but I wouldn't have the 3 kids that I have now. I never would have met my wife. You know, there are trade-offs. You end up with the life you're supposed to have, and I think this is the one I was meant to have. You know, there were other things that happened before I even got to college that, had they changed a little bit, I wouldn't have ended up here. I would have ended up, you know, somewhere maybe a little bit less pedestrian. But, you know, this is what I got. Well, I was a single guy. I got a roommate to cut my expenses, and I paid off all of my debt in 3 years, with the exception of some student loans that really, at the time, the interest rate on them was so low, I was making more on the funds in the stock market than I was paying off the debt. So I didn't. I decided that you know, it wasn't really worth it. Now I wish I had done that. That's a mistake that I made. I should have concentrated on getting my student loans done, because then they wouldn't be an issue. But as it turns out, my wife, she has a PhD, so her student loans are higher than mine by a long shot. So I've got, you know, we've got those to deal with, and they're not terrible. I mean, the you know, in comparison to some of the other things we're paying on. We had to buy a new car. My car died, and we didn't buy a new car. We bought an old new car. You know, it was relatively new, but it was and a heck of a lot less expensive than if we had bought a new car. But we had to buy one, so we're still paying that off. I have I have a loan that's out there, and I'm trying to pay it off. I don't have any credit card debt. My wife does. I have some obligations from a business that I closed down that I've pushed off about as long as I can, and they're going to hit this year. So I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with those. And I don't know what else is out there. We have, you know, between the student loans and it's easily going to be, you know, it's in the lower 6 figures. Going to be several $100,000 plus the amount that we owe on this house, which doubles everything. So I want to get in a position where we don't have to deal with any of it. And we're not in the kind of position where we have 6 or 7 credit cards that we're revolving and doing all of the other stuff. There is one credit card. It is my wife's, and she has it. She's employed. I'm employed. We make plenty of money to pay this stuff off, but there are some decisions that need to be made. And for me, the primary decision is getting out of this house. And that's a rough one. I don't want to live somewhere that I haven't paid off.